Well, hey, happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Tiiu now, and
And
this,
I'm Dr. Michael Gross. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy to be on and see your beautiful smiling faces. We can see all your beautiful smiling faces. Absolutely. But there's one got a little chocolate over here. I just thought
oh, chocolate.
I.
Shh,
we
don't
won't.
tell our
Okay. No,
secrets.
we won't tell them.
No, we're thrilled to be here today with a part three of Michael's incredible message, Your Direction in Life. But before we get into all that,
Okay.
okay, he's given me a chance, okay? Dr. Michael Gross is the author of the Spiritual Primer.
And Tiiu Knapp is the author of Healing the Holes in Your Soul, a remarkable story of survival, strength, belief, and finding her way out of the darkness. So, thank you, everyone. I highly recommend her book. It's motivational. And what's nice about it, you can make notes. It's so important because you take the notes and you make the notes and see how far you've grown and how much you've changed. So, I recommend this book. It is fantastic.
Okay, now I'm going to jump in and interrupt you because if you're curious about that book, then you have to start with this book. Only because this book, and I'm going to be, my mom will get upset, but this book and this man are the reason that book was even written. So start here because you can also write in his book. There's little questions and the little I love chapter three. I was all over chapter three. I don't know how many times. And the beautiful thing is, like Michael said, when you write in the book, it becomes your personal self development journey. And a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, you can go back and see where you were back then and really pay attention to how far you've grown. So, Dr. Michael Gross wrote this book and he wrote the foreword in this book.
And I'm so honored and privileged to do so. It's a great book, everyone.
So, on that note, I'm putting the book down
Me three.
because because we want to respect everybody's time. It is on a Sunday night when we come together, and your pillow's poking. We don't script this stuff, okay? We really seriously don't script this stuff. If we did, we would be probably on some editor's floor somewhere, right? All these little snippets being yanked out. But the one thing that we do try to maintain in our script is that I try to properly introduce him. That's why I read this part because I don't want to miss any valuable information that I share. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce you.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. He's my brother from another mother.
Yes.
We'll have to tell you that story after, but here we go, okay? Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an amazing teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. His resources, his experience is so far. I could write a book more than just a page, okay, on what he has accomplished. It's phenomenal. And I'm so grateful that he came into my life and he puts up with me, for heaven's sake. I don't get it. He's going to get a red badge of courage, I think, down the road somewhere.
No, I'm going to get a truckload of red wine and brie.
Okay, see, you blew the camera right out on that one.
I sure did.
Okay, here we go. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing that the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. And I'm thrilled to say that Michael currently lives in Lakewood, Washington, and has recently launched his nonprofit. I'm going to let Michael introduce his nonprofit, and we'll make sure that all the other information that we share with you, we'll contact info, that kind of thing, will all be in the chat as well. Okay? So here you go, Michael.
All right, here we go. I formed a 501c3. It's called the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. and its nickname is TISE, TIISE, in the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. And it's all about sharing information, healing about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And we don't realize that, but it takes on different colors, different ways. Perhaps a person has an addiction, or perhaps they feel insecure, or the depression, or whatever is going on in their life, and all has to do with self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And I wish to share with you that when Spirit said for me to do this, and I did it, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I did it, and went through a lot of challenges, but we got it done quickly, rapidly, and easily. And I said, what am I going to do with this now? And I was told there are going to be 12 legs to it, 12 divisions. And assisting this beautiful soul next to me in writing this book, I realized that our first leg is going to be helping abused women, children, and men. And it's so important. And I realize it's really daunting and it's awesome, because I will tell you, if you get a single mom, probably has 2 kids, that's the modus operandi. They're young. They don't have a place to stay. They don't have any money. They don't know what they're going to do in their life. They have the clothes on their back and a little bit of food, and that's about it. And then when I realized all that, how much is needed, I realized that, well, we'll probably put them up in a hotel and then get them into an apartment, and then counseling the abused woman or whomever the family member is, but also the children, because we don't want history to repeat itself, and we don't want the role model of abuse to be in their life anymore. And then teach them a vocation or get them a job, and teach everyone, their children, their family, and share this till they embrace it, of self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. That's going to be the first leg, and then afterwards we'll be working on the second leg. That's what I wanted to share with all of you. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And you see my information. And if you wish, we're a 501c3. You'd like to make a donation, it would be wonderful. And if not, just giving your time and listening to what we have to share is very important as well. So thank you. Thank you for letting me share that.
You're welcome. And the other thing too is that we also invite people to leave their comments, and also invite your friends to also listen to these recordings, because once we air it, every Sunday night when it's aired on social media, it stays there. We don't take it down. So if you miss it, it's okay. Hit the replay. It's going to be there, and it's up on YouTube as well. So encourage your friends wherever they are, because we are in a virtual world these days.
Yes, we are.
Now is the time to share this with your friends and just say, hey, I saw this awesome video, or these 2 people, Dr. Michael and Tiiu, are a little bit off. Invite them to join us as well. We love having more people join us. And on that note, Michael, why don't you take it away with our topic for today, your direction in life, part 3.
All right. Thank you. So I'd like to talk to you about your direction in life, and it's true. This is part 3. And we're going to say that's around from mid-30s to about 55 years old, plus or minus. And this is important, very important for us to look at, because approximately this time you have settled into a job, or maybe getting ready to settle into another job during this time period. And we're going to assume that you have your spouse, and that you have several children. And of course, in America, we average about 2 children. And it could be a little less or more, but we're just going to talk along those lines. And therefore, we focus our direction in our life into helping our children. And that's so important. Educating them, listening to them, consoling them, loving them, protecting them, and whatever else is needed. And in the years before, and we're talking about the 50s, maybe up to the year 1960, the father worked, he came home, and the mother was a stay-at-home mother and nurtured the children. Usually when they came home, she would bake cookies or have a surprise for them, a little snack, which is wonderful.
My mom did that.
Did she?
Yeah, she did that, and we would race home after school because Mom was there. And she always made it, especially when she made bread. Oof. She would make sure it came out of the oven right around the time the kids were coming home. It was the best treat ever. I'm sorry, I just got off on that.
That's all right. I remember my mother doing the same thing. In fact, some of you might not remember this, but and talking, digressing for a moment.
Uh-oh.
We used to get milk delivered in milk bottles. And in the milk bottles, there was about 4 or 5 inches of cream on the top. And in the wintertime, of course, they had a little paper cover on it. It would freeze and the cream would pop up. But my mother would take the cream and make buttermilk, fresh buttermilk. Oh my gosh, it was so good with, butter. Those are the fond memories we have. The reason I'm bringing it up now, our whole life has changed. And now you make play dates. And that you take your children and you take them to all different sporting events and so on and so forth. So your life now becomes a chauffeur to your children and taking care of your children. But you do it out of love because you want the best for them. And then you realize during this period of time what you have created with your children. And I kind of chuckle. Have you created a loving, caring atmosphere? Have you made them into feeling that if things don't go right, they're a victim? All those things go on. And then at a time in this life, you are taking vacations if you can afford to with your children. You're doing everything you can with the children until they reach about the age of 16. And then they kind of want to do things on their own. They want to be around their parents. This creates a little bit of loss within us because we're so used to being with our children. And now our children want to be on their own. And that's important for them to experience life. But for you who are not quite at that age and just have children, will be having children, my suggestion is to you to teach your children, A, to take responsibility, B, critical thinking. Very, very important. There are no victims at all. Now, I know that's kind of debatable, but I will tell you is victimhood has to be allowed. Now, you can be in a very strict family situation. You could be in the ghetto. You could be poor. It makes no difference. We all have to take responsibility. So during this time of your direction in life, not only are you being with your spouse, but all your life is now dedicated to your children, which is very hard at first. Then it becomes your modus operandi. And at the same time, you become a chauffeur, you become their friends, etc. So all these things are going on. Meanwhile, you are thinking about, I have to educate these kids. How are they going to get educated? How much money is it going to cost me? And so on and so forth. And then you realize, wow, I should have started it a lot earlier. So for those of you who are listening to this, and if you're just getting married or just starting out at life, need to have a retirement program. So important. And also during this time, you go through a crisis, both male and females, an identity crisis. And that identity crisis is, who am I? Where am I going? And, they call it male menopause and female menopause. It's kind of how you look at life and the bodily changes that are going on. You look in the mirror, maybe a little paunchy now. You got some gray hair, a few wrinkles here and there. And then you begin to have visions of your grandparents or parents aging. Don't go there. Everybody ages differently. And we need to understand that. So you could be 60 years old and look like you're 90, or you could be 60 years old and look like you're 35 or 40. See, it's up here. It's all what you think about. Because what the true source said, what the mind can conceive, the body will believe. So if you think you're old and decrepit, congratulations. You will. You did it. You think you're young and vibrant and full of vigor and vitality? Yes, you will be. Absolutely will be. So these are the crises points. Now, while you're worried about educating your children, you go, well, I'm 55 or whatever the age, and eventually the kids are going to be out of school, and then what am I going to do with myself? I don't get it. Struggling, isn't it? I hesitated because I wanted you to all think about that. And as the children, you're very proud of them, graduate high school and go on to college and graduate college. And perhaps they have a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is. And you realize sooner or later you're going to be an empty nester. You've heard that one before. Then it hits you. How am I going to retire? Do I have enough for retirement? What am I going to do? I've lost my identity when I retire. I'm just a name. How am I going to deal with this? And many women tell me, oh, gosh, my husband retired. He follows me around like a puppy dog all day. I don't have any time for myself. I don't have any freedom. I meet so many women. I want to retire, but I can't stand it. He's home all the time. He's standing behind me. He's judging me. So I have to get out of the house. It is the truth.
I'm laughing because it's so much the truth. Because they're lost. They don't know what to do. Can I jump in really quick?
Sure.
Okay. When I retired, at first I felt guilty for leaving because I knew that everybody else was stuck still doing the same old job, and I felt guilty. But then I thought, okay, now I don't know what to do, and I can only imagine a man, married, to suddenly retire. And here, I was single at the time, and to have somebody suddenly at home going, I don't know what to do. They're wandering around, just like you said, that puppy with, okay, where do I go now? And the wife is probably going, get out of here, kid. You bother me, right? Because she's got her routine. And she knows that now the whole thing has got to change. And it's like that ebb and flow of life, the dance. You have to find a new way. I'm sorry, I kind of got off on a tangent.
You're good. You're fine.
But it's a weird feeling.
So this is some of the directions you have in your life, both male and female. So for any of you who are looking, whether male or female, to retire, if you had a job that was a lot of pressure, a very big leadership role, it's going to be really tough to retire because you're used to being in command and telling what everybody needs to do. And that was your job. But you know something? The most important thing is that when you decide to retire, and we're talking about direction in your life, is that get a part-time job or do some volunteering or do one of the things, even if it's one day a week or two. Number one, it gets you out. Number two, it keeps your mind active. Number three, you have a lot of information to impart to help other people become successful. Number four, you get you out of your wife's or husband's way, so they won't be yelling and throwing things at you, figuratively speaking. Well, maybe they will.
They could be throwing a loaf of bread. Here, we need more bread.
So this is a point in time you should write your memoirs of your life. And you don't have to make a book, although it'd be great if you wrote a book, but it'd be an epitaph for you, for your children to know that. And that's so important. And I looked at my life and I said, would I change anything in my life? And I posted on Facebook, nope, it made me the man who I am today. That's how important it is, whatever you've done. But more importantly as well, look at yourself in a leadership role. You're still a leader of your family, whether they listen or not, but it keeps you active.
That's a good touch, whether they listen or not.
And the stats show that if you had a job with a lot of leadership, that if you don't get another job or do something part-time, within 3 years, you're a couch potato and then you birth out of your body. And I watched that to many family relatives. Kind of amazing. Kind of like you must give up or whatever. For me, I'm going to be working till I reach the ripe old age of 250. Actually, 249. I'll take a year off and then travel the world. But actually,
200? You're going to be 200? 250.
250.
Well, you are my twin brother.
Yeah.
Okay, twin brother from another mother back in the day.
Yes.
But that means I have to be there too because, he's my big brother. And I want to taunt him.
Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Is my nose growing, Pinocchio? Okay, get back to what we're talking about. We're having fun. Pardon our levity. But the most important thing is in your direction in life is after you're through educating your children to the best of your ability, then you have to prepare for retirement. And I don't know how much is retirement. People talk you should, whatever you retire at, let's say you made $100,000 a year and you're retiring at $20,000 a year. And if you want to live it the same way in life, then you're going to have to make provisions to have an additional $80,000 a year in income coming in over and above your retirement. If your retirement's $20,000 a year, whatever it is. Those are daunting facts. In fact, they can be very scary. But you know what? You don't have to do that. The KISS principle, keep it simple, silly. So if we keep things simple, and easy in our lives, not complex. We keep our blood pressure under control. We keep our life under control. We stop all debilitating illnesses, and a lot more fantastic, incredible things will be happening in your life. But the most important thing for each one of you, I would like to think about what would be best for each one of you. And that is to do something that creates joy and happiness in your life. You know, there's big brother, big sister, it's helping people, maybe puttering around the yard, but do something, volunteer, get a part-time job, whatever, because that gives you a feeling of self-worth. But this empty nester, what I talk about is suddenly you and your spouse are alone. What are we going to do? I mean, we've been running around with the kids all the time. We're educating them, we're buying them this stuff, and we're doing all these things. And then suddenly you realize you have to relate to each other. Before, your subject was the children and what they did. Now that subject matter changes because your children are college or graduated college, or they're dating, or maybe married, or what are they going to be doing? Now you got to look at your spouse and say, okay, do I love you? Do I care about you? And how can we become a team doing things together jointly? Those are the challenges you're going to have. And after, supplying so much money to educate my children, is there enough for me to enjoy life? These are all kind of decisions you're going to have to make. But in the interim, whatever decision you make will be perfect, knowing full well that in the end, you have designed a beautiful ending for your life, which is not really. Now, the silence that you heard from me was, I'm looking into what I see as the future for all of us. And I want to share some of the future that you see, or that I see in us. Our life is changing, communications are changing. We're going to have artificial intelligence, virtual reality. Things are changing. And you can choose to be part of these changing, or you can choose to participate, or you can choose to create a life with minimal effect, something that gives you love and joy and happiness. These are the decisions you have to make in your journey of life. And understanding these decisions, remember, they're not finalized because you're going to improve upon it. You're going to tweak it. You're going to make it much, much better. And that's so important for all of us. Therefore, if we look at our direction in life, is most important thing is what makes us happy inside, or what I really say, what makes your heart sing. That is so important because you see, if you're happy, you'll live a longer life. If you're happy, you know everything will be provided to you. If you're happy, you have fun in life. That is what we need to focus on. Having fun in life, enjoying our lives. After all, you're in your 58 to 62 area, somewhere around there. Now it's your turn. Take a look at everything you desire to do, everything you wanted to do. So many people that I meet when they birth out of their body, I said, what do you regret the most? And they said, I didn't follow my heart and my soul. Isn't that an epitaph? So here you are, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, and you regret that you never followed your soul's urge. That's something we need to address at a later time. But the most important thing for you to do is realize that while you're here on this planet and nurturing your children, you are vicariously, inadvertently living through your children. That's important. What's our time?
We have to wrap it up. We've got a couple more minutes.
All right. Well, we start wrapping it up, everyone.
Well, one of the things that you reminded me of is that we love our children so deeply from the very minute we realize that we're having children. And that is, I know, I can only speak for myself, but that compelled me to make the decisions that I made. It was always what's best for them. Problem is that when they grow up and they move away, we still will always love our children, even if we don't agree with them. We're always going to have that unconditional love for them But the thing that we often forget is that we should also love ourselves. We need to have that moment in time to honor who we are, because we all have that soul within us that is everything like you've taught me, Michael. We are of love. Well, wait, say it again. He
We're
has
from love, with love, by love, and from unconditional love.
exactly. So when we move forward in whatever stage that we're in life then we have to always make sure that we take that moment in time to say, is this something that we're doing out of love and being in service to others? Does our retirement have us sitting on our laurels somewhere, just becoming a remote control junkie watching TV hour after hour after hour? Or are we putting value in our day? And are we sharing the love with others? And I just wanted to add that
Thank you.
because you're welcome. Because Michael taught me a lot, and we can't fix other people. But what we can do is we get to choose how we react to, in a loving way, to what's going on in the world around us. And I highly recommend. Are you ready?
Well, I just want to add one more thing. Remember, your children are in loan. They are in loan to you,
Yeah.
and they have their own life to live.
Yeah.
So enjoy them while you can, and teach them critical thinking, and teach them to take responsibility. You can't fix everything for them. They have to learn to fix it for themselves, just like you have to learn that for yourselves. Now, everyone, think about these thoughts because we're going to do a part 4. Oh my goodness, not another one. Yes.
Well, before Michael pulls that one out, my mom, I have to share this. Okay, my mom gave me 3 golden nuggets, and I'm going to leave them here. Okay, number 1, treat people like you want to be treated, and that also means treating yourself that way. Number 2 is leave the world a better place than it was when you got here. And number 3, always, always, always listen to your inner voice, because that's what's speaking to you. And we know where that one comes from, right, Michael? Would you like
Yes.
to let them know?
I would like to tell everybody a couple of things. And the first thing is every Tuesday evening from 6:30 Pacific time to 7:30, maybe a few minutes over, I have what I call a call-in, or words of wisdom for Michael. And this is so important for all of us. You ask any question you so desire, and hopefully I can answer them. And then I leave a 10-minute message, sometimes 12 minutes. And there are over 251 of them. So first of all, I'd like to invite all of you to join us each Tuesday evening, 6:30 to 7:30 Pacific Daylight Savings Time, for the asking questions. We all learn from each other. Sometimes you may ask a question, I'll answer it, and 6 months later, someone asks the same question, and I might answer it a little bit different. So we learn and grow. But more importantly, we're putting together a family that's going to love and support each other, and being unconditional, loving, allowing, and non-judgmental. I'll let you share the rest of that information.
Perfect. Okay, the number for the Tuesday night call-in, which is at 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time, is 202-926-1059, and the access code
125-446 pound.
I'll make sure the numbers are all in the comments. And one more time, that number is 202-926-1059. Access code
125-446 pound.
Brace yourselves. I know it's coming.
All
All right. He also, like Michael said, he does a 10 to maybe 12-minute recorded message at the end of that call. And anytime you want to listen to any of those short messages, that number is 434-300-4170. And the access code
is 125-446 pound.
He practices this, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. One more time on the recorded numbers, and you can dial in anytime you want to, and it'll you dial in the number, you dial in the access code, and then it will ask you for the number that you want to listen to. Okay. And there's something I know you need to share on that. But here's the number again for the recordings. It's 434-300-4170. And the access code
is 125-446 pound.
I knew that was coming. Oh, okay. There's, like Michael said, he's got almost 250 something calls. And
all you need to do is when you dial in and give them the access code, they're going to ask you what number, and it starts from number 3 to approximately 252 or 253. And just whatever you want to listen to, listen, because it's very important. It means there's a message for you right now you need to hear. So everyone, I encourage you, and the price is just this beautiful smile. That's all the price is.
And if you're not sure which one to start with, number 92 is good, number 19 is good, or you just ask and the number will pop into your head.
Yes,
and that'll be the one that you really need to hear. So on that note, Michael, what do you do second Saturday of every month?
Second Saturday of every month, I invite everyone to be part of a mass consciousness healing. So important. That's its planets, its inhabitants, the animal, mineral, and vegetable kingdom also would welcome your love and the love for this beautiful planet. I thought I'd share one little quick story, and that is I was in Las Vegas this past July visiting a very dear friend. And he said, we're going to go out to the Red Sands. I said, okay, well, we'll see. So the Red Sands is a desert with red sand, obviously, and it's 110 degrees.
Ooh.
And dry, hot wind. And I was looking at the petroglyphs where the Anastasia and later the Pueblos lived and tried to interpret, some of their scratchings or their messages or pictures or cuneiforms, as they call them, on their beautiful places that they lived, which were built into the side of the hills or mountains. And I got a little tired, and I said to my friends, I'm going to sit down for a minute. It's hot, it's dry, sand, 110 degrees. And as I did, I didn't realize the rock was over 110 degrees. So hot buns for me. And as I had my eyes closed, because I heard there was a message, a Native American shaman came up to me. He was Anastasia. He had a wolf's cap on, very handsome man. And he says, I have a message for you to deliver to this planet. And I said, okay, what is your message? He said, my message is, you need to tell them, you need to tell everyone that we need to send healing to Mother Earth. Now, part of Mother Earth is the nature spirits, the elementals, so powerful. Therefore, I would encourage all of you to do a meditation, to meet the nature spirits and follow whatever directions they have. Not only audibly, but what you feel inside here. Because when he told me there was going to be earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, it was flooding, if you remember, in New York. Subways were flooded. It was flooding down southern part of the U.S. There's a volcano going off the coast of Spain. There's been earthquakes in Alaska. Everything is said is coming to fruition, and it's going to become more challenging. And in asking him, how can we change this? By changing each one of us. And when that surface and energy. I'm looking at a beautiful picture of a rainbow, and this rainbow is touching everybody's hearts. So thank you, everyone. Remember that you are the solution. You can make a difference, and you are unlimited, everyone.
The call-in number for that on Saturday it starts at 9:55, and the number again, it's the same as the Tuesday night call-in, so I'll repeat it one more time. It's 202-926-1059, and
the access code is 125-446 pound.
And on that note too, for more information, Dr. Michael and I have not only shared things here on social media, but we've also got YouTube channels that are coming up, and they're going to be getting more and more filled with. If you go to Dr. Michael Gross's YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. I have one as well. The videos that we've done over the last year and a few months are in there. And also, Michael's recordings will be there very, very soon as well. So everything is moving forward, and we will keep you on top of everything when you pop in here on Sundays at 7. We appreciate your time. Thank you for hanging out with us.
And remember, these are two phenomenal books. We want to share them with you. It's going to change your life.
Absolutely.
Everyone, have a great evening. Have a great week. Please tell everyone about these little podcasts, and know one thing, that we care about you, and you are unlimited. Namaste.
Namaste.
Good evening, everyone.